Good evening. Welcome to the Municipality of South Dundas's Committee of the Whole meeting for Wednesday, November 27th, 2024. With our council team and staff, welcome. We are having a couple of difficulty technically, so we will start and then take a break to see if we can rectify the problems. So with that being said, we'll call the meeting to order at 6:05 p.m. Moved by Councillor Ward, seconded by Councillor or Deputy Mayor St. Pierre. Thank you very much. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Confirmation of the agenda. Any additions, amendments to the agenda? We are going to reorganize based on the technical problems. Seeing none, I have a motion that we let it resolve that the Council Municipality of South Dundas approve the agenda as presented. Moved by Councillor Avino, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? Carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest, general nature thereof. I will, Jason Broad, hereby disclose pecuniary interest under item 6B, the Iroquois Morrisburg Plaza phasing, due to the fact that my wife's parents own property in both the Morrisburg Plaza and Iroquois Plaza Center. Any others?
My mother owns property in Morrisburg Plaza.
So you want to declare pecuniary interest. Councillor Vino will declare pecuniary interest in said law. Thank you very much, Councillor Vino. We'll move to 6A, so we will skip 5A, which is going to be the fire master plan critical risk assessment as we sort out our technical difficulties. So we'll move to 6A, strategic plan 2024-2028. CO Mills will start us off.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through you. Good evening, Council. Maybe before I start on the strategic plan, I want to thank all of the staff that have put comprehensive documents together for you tonight. I'm sure you had ample time to review the 450 pages, but I'll start with the strategic plan. The municipality is almost there, completing the comprehensive strategic planning process, and it'll be a document that we can use for the next 4 years. The process began in late 2023, and we had some challenges after our initial meetings and working with BizXL with the unfortunate passing of the owner, Gary Zick. But we have worked through it. We've had community engagement, almost 200 residents and a number of businesses that responded. There are 3 pillars: operational excellence, a growing connected community, and sustainable and dynamic growth. The implementation framework includes several critical components: the adoption of SMART objectives, resource allocation aligned with strategic priorities, ongoing stakeholder engagement, and regular progress monitoring and transparent reporting, which will include aligning staff reports and reports to council with the strategic plan, and then annual or biannual reviews. Some key initiatives to highlight before I turn it over to you, Mr. Mayor. Under operational excellence, a focus on digitization, business continuity, and staff development. For community connection, emphasizing the establishment of community hubs and business retention. Sustainable growth pillar includes strategic land use planning, investment attraction, and capacity studies. It's important to note the plan is designed as a living document that adapts to community needs while maintaining focus on our core purpose of embracing change, serving residents, and achieving collective community aspirations. Communication and making sure we follow through on that as a municipality is important, utilizing social media, the website, newsletters and email, and certainly the local media, including print media. The implementation process is structured to ensure accountability with clear timelines, and regular progress updates to council and the community. So I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, CEO Mills, and thank you to the staff that worked on it. I know I spent a lot of time previously working on it. We had a committee of the whole meeting previously and worked through some of the pillars, and it's been at the forefront of our mind as we've been working through, and then we continue to learn as the five of us were elected or re-elected for previous terms to reconnect with the community, and a lot of learning and a lot of time spent listening and learning, and as we got drenched into our committees and then dealing with our first two budgets, and I think it was clear throughout the community and from our staff as we're out there, like it's planning for our future. And yesterday morning, we're at the Iroquois Business Group and meeting, and one of the members mentioned in 1955 they had posted a sign on coming into Iroquois, and the sign said, as they're moving the downtown, the sign said in Iroquois, "We have to go, but look at us grow," right? So that was something 55 years ago. And maybe there hasn't been a ton of growth over that period, but certainly has been some, but not maybe as much as they thought. So continuing that plan for the future, right, is one of the key elements. And the Iroquois Business Group was like, yeah, we want to grow, right? We want our businesses to thrive and do well. And you think about some of the announcements that we've already had in the short 2 years already, and we continue to talk about well-being and doctor recruitment, and we certainly hear that in the community. One of the key elements is to make sure we have, everyone has a doctor and can access medical care. So we continue to advocate for that and work in attracting doctors, right? And it's a community where we live, work, and thrive. And I think all of us work very locally or very similar, and we thrive, and we love the community. So that was planning for the future. And the mission statement, I'm just going to capture a few of the points here, and then we definitely have discussion. Connecting land and water in South Dundas, where we grow, innovate, create, and deliver as a happy, healthy community. So we definitely recognize that South Dundas does live and thrive north of the 401, right, in our agricultural community. And in Councillor Smith's farm tours, we clearly see that, and the pride that our agriculture community bring to our community is outstanding, and they love showing us what they do, and then afterwards when we see them in the community, we have great connections. So that's the land piece, and of course then our communities, larger communities, Iroquois, Morrisburg, that have the waterfronts and the tourist attractions and the activities, right? So we certainly care about that, and our values. You typed in a Google search or an AR search, what are values? You could get 100 things you could pick out, right? And I think 3 things that stuck out for us when we talked and when we did our first training session, it was collaboration, and we talked about collaboration. And I from day one, I always talked about the team, right? And not that we team up just to vote the same way. That's not the intention of the word team. It's like we're in it together, right? We're trying to achieve more together, right? And work towards common goals. And we certainly have disagreed on individual topics, but I think overall we want to work together for everybody. And you can see that all evident in the events. We are at all the events. If we're out of town or we're working, we're not there. But if we're here, we're there, right? And we're there. So continue to collaborate. Integrity, certainly. In any municipality, people want to hear that it's ethically correct and you're accountable, right? And I think we do a good job. Really good job at that, declaring our pecuniary interests, for example, or whatever it may take. And we want to continuously improve because we recognize that we're certainly not the best, and our staff are great people, but can always continually improve, just evident by the training we do, either from regulatory training and or just personal training or developing more skills. So those are the values we want to continue on. And then CO Mills did touch on our pillars, operational excellence. And I remember thinking at the debate night, I guess, you know, there was a topic about, operational excellence, right, improvements. And, we definitely continued everything we think about. We want to make operational excellence a forefront, and we have things in the budget to make it even better, including our phone lines, right? Because it can be, an old system, because, things don't always work. So updated phone lines for one thing, and how we interact with our customers. Growing connected community, right? So being connected, and I know our planner will say, the right growth at the right time, at the right place, with the right people, whatever it may be, right? I think we'll continue on that. It needs to be sustainable and dynamic. So those are the pillars, and then in each pillar, we talked about, 5 or 6 or 7, areas where we want to work in, which really lead to, which you don't necessarily see, in this document, but then what are all the things we're doing, to meet some of these upper level goals. So, I think it's great. And I think it's a plan that we'll continue to work on. We have upcoming budgets, coming up, and things that will, in the advocacy, anytime we're out in the community, these are things we can A, talk about, and then B, advocate when we're outside the community, working on and lead into the next council. And the intent is to hand something over to the next council of something that's going on, and they'll put their stamp on it too as well, right, and change it. So we want to leave something forward, as every council does before, they put motion steps in place, like previous council had sold the property to Via in the industrial park, right? So it was sold by the previous council, but its construction has now happened under our term, and the next term we'll see the expansion or whatever. So those are things that just continually move on, right? So we want to set ourselves up for those type of things. So I think it's good, and I think if there's comments or anything we want to add or tweak, or discussions, please share. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Broad, and well said, by the way. I don't really have anything to add in terms of the document itself. I mean, I think we've went through this a couple times, and I think it's well formatted, it's well expressed of what we talked about. It may not have every, like as you said, it may not have every little detail that we talked about, but at that higher level of format is there. And when I look through some of the, just quickly, when I look through some of the pillars, I mean, yeah, we've been in 2 years, 2 years already. I can't believe it already. But we've already set these goals, and we already started achieving them. When I think about the connectivity with the community, I mean, we just had our ECDEV meeting last night, and the whole committee was blown away by the stats of how many more people are going on Facebook, going on our municipal website, going on to Instagram, TikTok. That whole thing is just shot up. Which is really good. The other thing that, for me, and I was a big advocate of it, was how do we grow our tax base? And you said it. I mean, the councils before us, I mean, everybody knows, or a lot of people knows, that in the development world, it takes time from start to the concept plan to site plan or a subdivision to actually getting approval, shovels on the ground. That can be a lengthy process. So, the councils before us has done a pretty good job, and I think this council has done a real good job at continuing what others have done. But we've also seen, people like Swank Construction that continues to grow at Dutch Meadows. We see the Velcrafts coming in. We see Tomlinson's coming in. We see other, and I think what we are is we're a welcoming council and a welcoming staff. And I don't know how many times somebody said, I can't believe that you have a group of staff, which is planning and rec and the CAO and wastewater, that get in a room and talk with the developers about how we going to make your development happen. And so I'm a big proponent of development, and I think there's no surprise of that. So we've already started hitting some of these pillars, and it's great. I just think we need to continue. I think we need now to zone in and own in on some of these specific ones, and just keep the momentum going over the next, really, if you think about it, more over the next year and a half, because year and a half is midsummer 2026, and then we're out, what we're already thinking about, or some are already thinking about. So anyways, great job to staff. I think it's a great document. Congratulations and good for my council colleagues to be able to pull this together.
Other comments at this point? No, it's good that we have discussed it. We've had discussed it. I think so. The intent tonight was to make sure this is, one last chance to look at it. And then we'll, in our next living document, for sure, we'll, at our next council meeting, we'll pass it as the official one. And then we'll start, this is what we're gonna, part of our, some of the action plans are in here is how we're actively promoting, and we're gonna use some of this documents. And just one last thing I wanted to mention is, one of the growing connected community is like supporting existing business. So, the whole, residential growth, that helps, existing business. So, that's a key priority, keeping our, all our retail spaces, busy and active. And then what new things happen is on the growth side. So that's good. Good. Clerk LeBrun, anything, to add on that we need procedure wise? We're good. Okay. Do we want to take that break now to see if we can?
We can take 5 minutes.
Yep.
We'll have to end the stream, but restart it, but let's
Okay.
break technical difficulties and hopefully we can.
So we're going to end the stream, take a 5-minute break and restart a new stream. Okay. So if you've been watching, please rejoin in 5